HBO has released the 6th episode of their Batman spin-off The Penguin, which follows Oz as he tries to expand his reach within the city, all while his enemies are trying to smoke him out. And I thought the episode was pretty good. The episode begins by showing us how big Oz's empire has grown, since he has successfully been reproducing and distributing the bliss mushrooms in an underground trolley. Sophia and the Maronis are stumped on where to find Oz and his crew, so they decide to kill several bliss dealers as a warning to anyone who wants to work with Oz. And this scare tactic would have worked if Oz didn't have the brilliant idea to give away his bliss for free in order to raise demand across all of the other gang territories. And after he sets up a meeting with the other gangs, Oz manages to convince them to work together against the Gigantes, the Maronis, and the upper elite. So while Oz may be a slimy little weasel, he's also a resilient son of a bitch. He's a weed that just refuses to stop growing even after he's been cut down, and that obviously frustrates both Sal and Sophia. But things aren't exactly perfect for Oz. His mother's condition has gotten so bad that she actually has Oz promise to kill her if she ever becomes too ill. And that's gotta be hard for anyone to hear, let alone a mother's own son. But Oz does promise to kill her, so that's some pretty heavy shit right there. And speaking of killing, Vic actually shoots Squid in the neck after being confronted by him several times throughout the episode. Of course, this is a pretty traumatic experience for Vic since he just murdered someone that he knew since he was a kid, but Oz decides to console him by telling him that it gets easier, implying that he will in fact have to kill again in the future. And I'm just not sure if that's the kind of advice that Victor really needed to hear in this moment. But for how traumatic this experience really was for Vic, he's about to have an even worse experience, since this episode ends with Sophia finding out where he and Oz's mom are staying. Yes, after finding a photo of Eve in Oz's apartment, Sophia decided to pay her a visit, initially threatening to kill her in order to get to Oz. However, Eve just decides to give up Oz's location after Sophia reveals that he has always known the true identity of the Hangman, aka the person responsible for killing a handful of women that Eve personally knew. So Eve decided to betray Oz after feeling hurt and betrayed herself. It's just unfortunate that Oz's mother is going to be the one to suffer, since she had nothing to do with all of this backstabbing. I mean, what's Eve gonna do when she finds out that she gave up the life of a sick and innocent old woman? And what's Oz gonna do when he finds out that Eve is the one who ratted him out? More importantly, what's gonna happen to Vic and Oz's mother in the first place? I don't know, but I'm sure we'll have the answers to some of these questions once the penultimate episode of the season gets released on Sunday.